for Wednesday, March the 13th. Today's order of business, we do have some meeting minutes that we need to approve. We can do that at the end of the meeting. Our committee assistant, Cheryl, sent that out to the committee. That's for the meeting minutes for the 25th of January and the 31st of January. But before we do that at the end of the meeting, I would like to, basically state that we are doing a bill hearing on SB 481, which is renaming Kansas State University Polytechnic Campus as Kansas State University Salina. This bill was approved by the Senate 39-1, but we'll begin the bill hearing on this SB 481. I'd ask the reviser if she would like to give us a bill brief, an overview of Senate Bill 481.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, what Senate Bill 481, as amended by Senate Committee, does is it renames Kansas State University Polytechnic Campus as Kansas State University Salina. And all the references in the statutes are getting cleaned up by this bill. And then it also states that if any contract or other document references or designates it as Polytech Campus, that it would be referred to as K-State or Kansas State University Salina. Then commencing with fiscal year 2025, Kansas State University Salina would be considered a separate line item and a state general fund account in the budget documents and bills concerning Kansas State University. It provides that programs of technical education include but are not limited to programs that advance aerospace, technology, and advanced manufacturing industries of the state. The bill also amends language allowing Kansas State University to purchase insurance for the operation and testing of completed project aircraft uses in education, training, and research. And under current law, the insurance is only for the operation of aircraft used in professional pilot training. So I think that just broadens it to include what the university goals and objectives are for the campus there at Kansas State University Salina. The bill would become effective on the statute book. And then, as the chairman said, the Senate passed the bill 39-1. And I'd be pleased to stand for questions.
Thank you, Joel. Committee questions, we'll go to Vice Chair Sanders first.
So is it going to be Kansas State University Salina or just Kansas State University Salina?
I believe a dash will be in there, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other committee questions? Okay, if not, thank you, Joel. And I do want to also, I forgot to welcome Representative Mosier to the committee today and filling in for Representative Wassinger, so welcome to the committee. We do have a proponent. I'd like to welcome Dr. Alicia Starkey. She's the Dean of Kansas State University Polytechnic, soon to be, hopefully, K-State University Salina. So Dr. Starkey is on WebEx. Welcome to committee.
Good afternoon, Chair Howe and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to provide proponent testimony on SB 481 and in this virtual matter. I appreciate that accommodation. As you just heard, the bill is pretty straightforward from our lens. Really, the current statute has been in place since 1991 with the original merger of Kansas College of Technology to Kansas State University. And so this language really just does update the current business practices for alignment with how we operate today within the university structure. So the three central components are adjusting the name to Kansas State University Salina. That is aligned with the rest of how the rest of the other university multi-campus system structure works. The budgetary process has needed some revision for a couple of years now, so removing the language designating the campus as a separate state agency while clarifying that we'll continue to maintain a separate line item should provide us to be in alignment with the current processes. And again, the the ability to provide insurance to UAS drone technology, which was not in existence in 1991, now needs to be included as well too, so we can operate and provide the necessary insurance and liability coverage for those types of aircraft. that's essentially what the bill is, and I'm happy to stand for any questions as well.
Thank you, Dr. Starkey. We'll begin questions from our Vice Chair, Representative Sanders.
Thank you, Dr. Starkey. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So are you familiar with the history? It was originally Kansas State or K-State Salina. Why was it ever changed in the first place?
My recollection, Representative, is the president at that particular time of Kansas State University had a particular vision and experience with some polytechnic institutions that were really, polytechnics are really prevalent on the East and the West Coast. And so he kind of had a vision for the campus to go in that particular direction. It really does not sit well in the Midwest. The polytechnic references are confusing, and this particular change again realigns us with how the university operates in its system, but it also helps us streamline the mission and make clear the mission and the vision of the campus, and it references the geographical location as a designation, not how we do the learning, which is kind of how that previous president saw the campus should be marketing itself.
And one other question, if I might, Mr. Chair. So from your perspective, did the name K-State Polytechnic ever really catch on, or were people still generally referring to it as K-State Salina?
Most people still refer to it as Salina. Not a lot of people understood the Polytechnic, and I don't think it ever caught on. I will say when we made this recommendation to K-Board, we did do a survey of our stakeholders, alumni, industry partners, current students, and over 87% of the respondents had suggested that we make the adjustment back to Salina.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other questions from committee members to Dr. Starkey? Dr. Starkey, we appreciate having you before the committee today about Senate Bill 481, but I did want to give you an opportunity maybe to plug K-State University Salina, let the committee know if there's any things that we should be aware of, or some exciting news, or things ongoing on campus. And I do have one question for you that you could provide in your response. Is K-State University Salina, is it seeing growth in student enrollment?
Yeah, over the last really since 2019, our campus has seen almost triple enrollment. When a lot of the other colleges within the university have been struggling, our campus has been growing. A lot of that is due to this refocusing on our mission around the aerospace and the technology industries. And a lot of that also correlates just with the industry of where the aviation industry, pilot training, mechanic training, and the advanced manufacturing portions of the industries, the growth that they've been needing as well too. So it has been a fun time. We've had to build residence halls in order to accommodate all of the growth and enrollment. And then we've also been attracting businesses to the state as well too. So a couple of our projects that we're working on right now do have an economic impact as well too, that we've been correlating with the community in order to attract different companies from the West Coast to Salina to help with our economic development within the community. And that incorporates a lot of program changes as well too. We have one that's coming that is focused on immersive technology, which is AR, VR in the entertainment sector. And then we are talking to a company right now, which is looking to bring about 100 other employees in the aerospace industry to Salina, but those conversations are just in the middle of the conversations, not quite to a point where we can talk publicly about them yet.
Thank you, Dr. Starkey. I appreciate hearing the positive news there at K-State Salina, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.
Are there any neutral conferees that would like to offer testimony on SB 481? Are there any opponent conferees that would like to testify on Senate Bill 481? Seeing none, we'll close the bill hearing on SB 481. Committee, just wanted to see, this is a fairly basic bill. It's pretty straightforward. Seeing no objections, I would move that we suspend the rules and consider Senate Bill 481.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules and to consider Senate Bill 481 in today's order of business. Any discussion? Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. So now we're on the bill. Senate Bill 481. I move the committee would favorably adopt Senate Bill 481.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to favorably pass Senate Bill 481. Is there discussion? Representative Woodard.
Mr. Chair, my only question would be if we would want to consider putting this on the consent calendar instead of
orders. I was thinking about that earlier, and I'm glad you brought that up. I would support that. Can I consider that a friendly amendment to my motion? Does that work? Cut mustard with parliamentary procedure? Okay, seconded by Representative Amix to also favorably pass Senate Bill 481 and placing it on the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Representative Fairchild.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't see any problem with this bill. It seems pretty non-controversial. I just note that, we had a conversation the other day. There was one senator that voted against it. I mean, I don't know what her reasoning was, and I don't know if there'll be anybody that votes against it in the House. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything for something to get on the consent calendar, and then, usually people don't object to it even if they vote against it. So if there are one or two people that voted against it, it wouldn't make any difference. It would still pass. But I mean, since there was one senator that voted against it, I mean, there could be someone voted against it in the House. But I mean, from my perspective, it seems like a completely non-controversial bill.
Thank you, Representative. Is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of passing favorably Senate Bill 481 and placing it on the consent calendar for the committee of the whole, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Is there any other business for the committee today? Oh, yes. Thank you, Representative Amix. Reminded me that we have minutes to approve. So we have minutes from January 25th and January 31st. I'll entertain any motions once you have time to review the minutes. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Representative Amix, seconded by Vice Chair Sanders to approve the minutes for January 25th and January 31st. Is there any discussion? Any edits or changes? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of adopting the minutes for January 25th and 31st, signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. The minutes are adopted. That being said, that's all the chair has for today's business. Is there anything else that committee members have? Seeing none, we do not meet tomorrow. The weekly agenda for next week is tentative right now. I may make some changes to that. There is a Senate bill a different Senate bill on the DEI statements that was just read in maybe within the last day or two. There's also a Senate bill that would change the ethnic minority scholarship program. And so I'm thinking about maybe doing a roundtable next week about the ethnic minority scholarship program, because I don't want to make important decisions in a vacuum at the end of session. I think we need to have a good discussion about that, and to ensure that we're not leaving any students behind that might be recipients and that are expecting a renewal of that scholarship award. So we need to kind of get our ducks in a row to make an informed decision on that. But that's all I have. If no one else has anything, I'll consider the meeting adjourned.